What's going on, witches and wizards? My name's AJ. Thanks for joining me for our video today. Today we're going to be talking about the top tips and tricks in Hogwarts Legacy for new and existing players, so they should be able to help you even if you already are halfway through the game. So let's get started. First of all, let's go into talents. Right off the bat, I think you guys should invest in a few talents in the core section because those apply to combat and exploring and everything in between. And one of the first ones that you guys should probably buy is the Wiggenweld talent, and that is especially if you are going to be using a lot of potions, maybe if you're playing on normal or hard. Now, I myself am playing on hard, but I'm trying my best to never use potions. Another thing that you guys should take a look at is the Swift talent, because that will actually change your dodge roll into a vanishing teleport, which is really helpful when you're battling a boss. Another huge one that you guys should upgrade as soon as possible is the Revelio Mastery, because we all know how much we have to spam Revelio constantly to find items in rooms, and having the Revelio Mastery upgrade pretty much doubles that length that shows items around you. Now, if you want to take a stealthy approach to the game, I suggest only upgrading the Disillusionment Charm, because the other three upgrades in the stealth category are pretty much just going to increase your stealth, and I haven't had much trouble getting caught while I'm using the Disillusionment Charm, which makes you invisible if you haven't gotten that far yet. So being able to run while using the charm is really helpful, because sometimes they make you go a long distance and you can't be detected, so it is a huge one. However, you cannot run at full speed. You're sort of at a limbo between walking and running. If you want to go into spells and upgrade anything, the only spell I've upgraded so far that I really recommend is the Incendio Mastery. And even so, you will get a better fire spell pretty soon after that, but you can pair it with Accio, and I'll show it right here.
Might I remind
Using Accio with the Incendio Mastery spell is really helpful, and I even managed to have a funny encounter with the spiders where I was testing to see if I could pick an enemy up really high up a cliff and attack them in midair.
Accio. Incendio.
Next, let's talk about everything that you guys should be doing in Hogsmeade. So right off the bat, you're going to want to go to Tomes and Scrolls, and you're going to want to buy a few conjuration spellcrafts. So the first one that you should buy is the large potting table. You're not actually limited to one. I thought I had just bought one table when I went there, but actually we'll talk about it later on. But when you go to the room of requirement, you can lay out as many as you want. Granted, you have to have a certain amount of moonstones, but it is really easy to get moonstone in the game, and you're pretty much going to be able to customize however you like. Another place that you're probably not going to want to go right away because you're not going to know what you're doing, but you will end up there eventually, is J. Pippin's Potions. And this place is incredible because later on you're going to get tasked with making certain potions in the room of requirement. And it's easy to just come to see this guy and grab a missing ingredient than to just go out into the forest and hopefully find it. So definitely see J. Pippin's Potions to get through those tasks. The last place in Hogsmeade that you won't be forced to go, but you really should go, is Dogweed and Deathcap. This lady is wonderful. She sells you the seeds and abilities to grow all sorts of things. She is so much help, and you're going to find yourself buying every single seed that she has because of all the powers that you gain from each seed. And also, when you take them to the room of requirement, which we'll get to later, you will be able to just infinitely replant and regrow, and they'll automatically do it on their own. Now, speaking of the Disillusionment Charm, you can run this to open these chests that have the seen eyeball. A lot of the chests that you run into at the beginning of the game have this eye on it, and you are not able to open because they spot you. So you're always going to want to be hitting shops and selling the gear that you're not currently using. I recommend not just going for an aesthetic look throughout the game, because each piece of gear actually does help you boost your health, defense, or offense. So a quick note on the owl post is I was not opening my letters for the majority of the game so far, and it was actually hurting me because some quests and mainline story quests require you to read your letters. So if you find yourself stuck, just check your owl letters. Maybe you have a letter that's telling you something very important. Now, advancing time. Advancing time is something that you get later on in the game, probably after you played for around 6 to 8 hours. And this is an amazing ability because I myself don't like going into the Forbidden Forest at night. I'm a big chicken. I don't have any scary games on my YouTube channel yet. So what you can do is pull up the map. And for me, I am on PC, so what I do is I press F and it fast forwards the time to daytime. Now, if you're in the daytime and you want to play at night for some reason, you can do the same thing. Go to the map, look in the bottom right and see which button you have to press to fast forward time. Now, it will be very clear to you when you get it because they do teach you in the game. It's not a hidden feature, so you will run into it eventually. Flying low for Flue Flames. This is a big one, guys. I want to make sure that you guys right click on the map if you're on PC, or whatever button you have to press if you are on console, to take yourself towards a Flue Flame that's outside that you haven't been to yet. And it will still show on your map even if you've never been there. And as long as you're flying low on your broom, you can go around and unlock the entire map's Flue Flames right away. It is very helpful and very fun, and you'll also find all sorts of Merlin trials and enemies and loot along the way as long as you're flying low. And if you ever find yourself in trouble, you can just fly high and get away from it. So it is a very helpful and fast way to unlock the map. Speaking of Merlin trials, they kind of give you a Zelda Breath of the Wild vibe. They're a lot of fun, and this is how you're going to upgrade your storage in game. So every time you complete, I think 3, you get a 4-slot upgrade to your storage. So if you've done 3, you'll go from 20 to 24. I could be wrong, it might be 4, but I think it is 3. So what you have to do is pretty much douse some Mallowsweet leaves all over the platform, and then something nearby will have to be done. So for instance, in this gameplay, I had to use Reparo on 4 broken statues, and that's all I had to do, and I completed it. Lastly, we'll talk about the Room of Requirement. I was very stressed out and nervous to deal with this room because it looks confusing, but it's actually very simple. And the tutorial when you get there is actually very straightforward, and they'll actually teach you 3 spells. They'll teach you Evanesco, which will help you turn things in the room into moonstones. And the room is full of paintings and things that you can turn into moonstones. So even if you don't have many, you'll at least get enough out of the room to make a few tables. So as long as you buy them from tomes and scrolls that we talked about earlier, granted you have enough moonstones. You'll also learn a conjuring spell, which is how you're going to place these. And when you use it, it'll pull up a menu, let you choose what you want to place. Very simple. And you'll learn an altering spell for changing position and colors and such. So, but I do recommend placing as many large tables as possible because these can grow any plant of any size, and they are very helpful. So those are all my tips and tricks for you guys right now. I am loving this game. I honestly believe that this game is one of the most fun games I've ever played in my life. I'm very happy it's having a great takeoff, and I'm glad the community is booming right now. Thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate each and every one of you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.
Mum! Yeah? I'm on 443 subscribers!
Who gives a shit?